Title: No more gaming for you buddy. So I, 15M, have an older brother, 18. And he's a massive jerk. I'd rather not get into it on this post, but basically he thinks I should respect all the time and treat him like a god. He actually said to my dad once that he should be able to hit me whenever he wants. I shouldn't be able to do anything about it. So thankfully now he doesn't hit me, but we have conflicts every now and then. The revenge. So we have a PS4. I mostly play on it, but he plays on it sometimes too. I downloaded this app for PC called Netcut, which lets you control the internet from devices connected to it. So I enacted my plan. So every single time he tried to play, he plays Modern Warfare. I'd let him play a bit, then turn his internet off on the PS4. Oh, you're in an intense fight, whoops, the internet went off. Oh, you're almost about to win, whoop, your internet's gone. Sometimes I'd even say to him while he's lagging, is the internet working? It made me smiles each time he raged. And I got some justice for all the times he's been an asshole. Also, I wrote this on mobile, so please forgive my crappy formatting. Edit: I'd like to add so much it. What I would first do is lower the internet speed for the PS4. So at the start of the game he would lag a lot. Not enough to make him disconnect, but a lot enough to make him leave the party and not be able to talk to his friends. After that I waited, I just watched his gameplay. He would sometimes rage, which made me smile more. I would just sit there whenever it was time for him to play. I would always make sure to act like the internet was really slow. And one time I even asked him, do you disconnect of games when you're playing on the PS4? Then when I think it's the right time I strike. Also, I wait on purpose instead. If making him disconnect early is because I want him to waste him time, he will suffer more if he disconnects while in a fight or the final circle or SMTH. There was one time where I even recorded some of the audio, lol. Also, if r/ or Darkfluff reads this, I'm gonna be ecstatic. Title: Somebody ruins Pride Parade crosswalks, city makes them permanent. Posted in another sub and was told to go here. Not a super long story, and the title is pretty self-explanatory, but here we go. A couple years ago, during the Pride month and for Pride Parade, the city I live in temporarily painted rainbows over the crosswalks on Main Street. So, in the middle of the night after the parade, some obviously homophobic douche nozzle gets in their truck, speeds down Main Street and slams on their brakes, making skid marks across the crosswalks. They go back and forth doing this a few times. Title: Dude with enormous rucksack gets comeuppance. Happened close to 5 years ago while traveling home late on the Jubilee Line, London Underground, subway train. I was the only person standing using the sole central pole for stabilization. At London Bridge, a dude with an enormous camping rucksack got on. As the train made its way eastbound, he leaned his rucksack on the central pole, squashing my fingers in the process. I pulled them out and asked him not to do it again. He refused to move, saying that he was tired and just trying to get home and didn't need some oaf bothering him. I laughed as I thought he was a prat and simply moved closer to the seats where there are smaller handholds in each corner. As we approached Canning Town, I noticed he had one of the buckles undone. Cue the revenge. I buckled it up around the pole, casually stepped around him and disappeared into the night. Title: Perfectly Dry Revenge. This was decades ago when my now ex-husband and I were living in an apartment building with a common laundry room. One laundry day, we took our wet clothes out of the washer and put them in the dryer, fed the machine its quarters, then went back to our apartment. Side note, we'd always go to check the dryer early, because if it needed more dryer time, all you'd have to do is put in more quarters to extend the cycle. When we went back to check if our clothes were dry, some selfish dickweed had yanked our still wet clothes out of the dryer and dumped the load on top of it. Now, their clothes were spinning in the dryer. They had callously stolen our dryer time. I quickly formulated a revenge plan and dropped in a few more quarters to extend the cycle. We then grabbed our wet clothes and took them back to our place to hang dry on the balcony. Next, I picked a few choice turds out of our cat's litter box, traipsed back up to the laundry room, opened the dryer, threw the turds on top their wet clothes, shut the door and restarted the cycle. Obviously, I didn't stick around to personally witness the aftermath. Title: Cat Gets Revenge. This is going to be short and sweet. My cat is super smart and, like all cats, curious about things she shouldn't be. She learned how to open cabinets and closet doors. She loves to lay on top of plastic bags and roll around on them to make the crinkle noise. She doesn't bite them or go inside, but because she might one day, I put them in the cabinet beneath the sink next to the cleaners. She figured out how to open the cabinet and go inside with the door shutting behind her. All I hear is the banging of the door and crinkle of bags. After the fourth day of this, I bought child safety locks for the cabinet. I only locked the plastic bag and cleanser cabinet because that was the only one she showed interest in. Revenge time. She spent the entire night banging the cabinet doors trying to open them. After bringing her back to bed a few times, I gave up and let her bang. In the morning, every cabinet was open except the cold-proofed one. She opened the 6 remaining cabinets in the kitchen and the 2 in the bathroom. In top of that, every closet door was open. Title: My bottom floor neighbors used to blast music on their speakers, so I used their tactics against them. A little context before I explain, or just skip it. I live in a medium-sized apartment that has 3 floors. It's not the best condition, but could be worse. And the floors are blocking sound constantly, so no one can hear us talking. So I heard some people moved into the apartment right behind us. Cool. I won't make noise to disturb them. Until I heard from my mother that he would play loud music while I was in school. I was so naive, I didn't believe her. Until one day I was home alone. I was playing some games on my iPad, and I heard it. This speaker is so loud. It shook objects on my side and I was so pissed. I grabbed my 30-pound lift and slammed it to the ground for him to shut the music, or lower it. He didn't hear it. I was more pissed and made noise like stomping until I went back on my phone or he turned it off. He did this every day for months. I had enough of his plays. I knew the next door residents were blasted more because they're next to each other, and something had to be done. I caught notice that a ding would sound after Bluetooth before playing music, and I knew to be prepared, but that's irrelevant. One day, I was in my Bluetooth settings, and found a Bluetooth speaker. Being the naive kid I am, I connected my iPad to the speaker. Ding, the bear is back. I knew I now held the power to blast music. They were away, so I blasted music like the Monsters Inc. and checked the powerful music. This thing was so loud. So I used it to my advantage. Oops, I had automatic Bluetooth connection, and accidentally connected one of my loud videos. I was watching a video. I didn't think much of it, until later on. They were home one day, and they heard a satisfying ding and blast music. I think they got scared because they turned the speaker off. I knew Bluetooth could be intercepted, so I used this against them. They were playing loud music one day, or arguing, and then I intercepted their connection, and started chipping their life. My mom had tried to cope with him physically, and that didn't work. So I kept on doing it for months. I think once they knew who it was because they started pounding on their ceiling, which I heard, but kept on hearing some good old, "Never gonna give you up." They were fed up, but couldn't stop it, or at least force me to stop it, because they know what they did. I kept on taunting them until some glorious magic happened. From my mom, I heard they had legal document issues. They were forced to move countrywide. I was so happy, and for my last move, tried breaking their speaker. I didn't do anything, or at least I didn't hear anything, but I hoped they knew what was up. They left the apartment a few months after the final taunt. Title: Don't try to mess with your competitors. Backstory: I was doing some baseball earlier today, and this kid, NGL, he is pretty good at baseball. And I guess you could consider us rivals, I'm not sure. We're playing against each other. The ring leader and the one who was starting everything equals off for asshole. Nobody else needs a name, so yeah, before the revenge, so I play as a catcher. If you don't know, all you need to know is that it is a position that is really close to the dugouts, or where all the players go to when the other team is playing defense and you are playing offense, or batting. Sorry for the bad explanation, but let us continue. So I was minding my own business when this kid was basically just verbally harassing me, etc. He was talking shit behind me, which for some reason really got to my head, which is weird because I am usually very thick-skinned. So this man really got my morale down and I was in despair trying to fight off tears while playing, and he got some people on his team to laugh at me. My own friends at school were laughing at me. I thought of them as mild friends. But keep in mind, Odd doesn't even go to my school, and that this is the second game of the season, so my friends barely know Odd. And my sister's friend's younger brother is one of them. But I am going to let those two people off the hook because they aren't too bad. The main insults were, "You are a dead weight to the team, you're bad," and just giving me destructive criticism based on the way I am catching. And keep in mind, I also had a family issue yesterday, so I wasn't on my best game. The continuous laughter on my already weak mental state tore me apart. And when I was playing sloppily, when I was getting a wild ball, I fell hard on my left hand and bent my thumb all the way back, which hurt like jolly hell, and I continued until the end of the inning, and then I didn't play any other position or go batting. Batting is basically where you try to hit the ball with a bat. Sorry if I make definitions to things you already know, I just want to make sure everyone understands my terminology. So yeah, I watch as our team suffered from the already lack of players on our team. And we ended up losing. The revenge, so close to the end of the game, I tell the coach what happened and I over-exaggerate everything and made sure to add tears for better effect, lol. I said that he cursed at me, he didn't. And basically made it seem like he was harassing me. So the coach takes note of this, I get driven home by my sister and I tell her the story. Then she tells the story to my dad. And later, my coach sends a text about how David is sorry and to spare him a call, which I obliged to. And then he called me and I acted all cool. I am also pretty sure he is grounded now.